Yeah, you can see it a little bit. I shot this last night with a different camera and I wasn't happy with it, so I swapped some equipment around. Hey, just you guys can hear me, right? Check, check. Can you guys hear me? All right, cool. Thanks. Haven't done a live stream in a few months. I just quickly set this all up and had some issues in the beginning. 5 by 5. What's 5 by 5, Roger? Ariel, did you get yours processed last night? Yeah, ain't that the truth? I can't complain because I have Starlink too. It's my only option out here for high-speed internet, besides a very slow DSL that they try to tell you is high speed. Hey, Doug. Cool. Hopefully it works out for you. I had to watch it again today too, just to give myself a refresher. Ah, radio lingo, gotcha. I should have known that. My dad was a DJ back in the day for a little bit. Yeah, Nevada desert skies. I was surprised. I shot it for the first time 3 nights ago and didn't even realize it was going to be there. I was just using my Canon. Saw it last night, and yeah, it's there. It's faint, but it's still there. I think all those things are just guesstimates, right? I'm ex I'm expecting to start hitting my trees here in probably about 15 minutes or so. It's about 9 o'clock, I think, last night when I was trying to image it, and I started seeing the tops of the trees. So But it should get a good 45 minutes to an hour, maybe, hopefully. I stacked last night's and just was not happy with it. Yeah, it could have been. I don't know for sure. It was definitely a lot brighter that first night that I shot it. I saw Chuck over at Chuck's Astrophotography's live streaming tonight too. He's like the live stream king. You can always depend on good old Chuck. Yeah, good luck, Nevada. I got pretty lucky. We got this is like the third clear night in a row, and I think the next two nights are going to be clear too, possibly even into Tuesday. So as soon as I'm done here, because I have my main camera on the Red Cat for this, I need to strip it down, put it back on the 8-inch in the observatory so I can start working on my other project. Yep, so this is my Player One Poseidon C camera, and I have that on the Red Cat 51. The mount is ZWO's AM5, and I'm just using a UV IR cut filter, 30-second exposures. Doug, where's the rest of our crew, man? I know it was last minute. Yeah, super. It's a great little scope, man. It was actually my first telescope that I bought when I stopped imaging with my Canon and just the kit zoom lens. I love the thing. I'll own that forever. Oh, there goes Doug. You got to worry about the numbers all the time. Total error right now is 1.2. It's been going up and down tonight, so for whatever reason. My neighbor's having a party two doors down here, and he's got a big fire going too, so I'll blame the numbers on the smoke. Well, Ariel, I'm not sure if one's better than, I mean, the UV IR cut filter is just doing that. It's cutting out UV and IR. The L Pro, I got the Comet last night, but it just looked like this kind of smeared, I mean, the whole tail just, there was, wasn't hardly any detail in it. So I don't know if it was the camera because I was shooting with the Uranus C camera and the L Pro. I wasn't sure if it was one or the other or both, so I took it off, put the Poseidon on, and threw in the UV IR cut, and we'll see what we get. The single 30-second subs do look a lot better than the subs did last night, so I'm hoping this will do it for me. See, that's right. Good thing you hit the bell, Doug. Yeah, you know what? Those little smart scopes that I have a Dwarf 2 and they just recently sent me a Dwarf 3. I mean, yeah, you're not gonna get the same quality as you would out of a traditional rig, but those are great little units, man. I love them. I don't use mine a lot, but I do use it when you got the kids that come over, or just to show it off to other people that are just interested in what I'm doing. They can understand that in an app on their phone better than they can, all my equipment that I have and stuff. I love the things. I think they're a great fit. Turn off this light. Yeah, yeah, no problem about it. Yeah, Doug. I'm tracking just because I last minute decided I was going to shoot this again, so I just used my sequence template that has tracking and all the other stuff plugged into it. So yeah, it's 30 seconds. I don't need to guide, but it's guiding anyways. And yeah, I'm tracking at sidereal rate. I could track the comet, but the way that I plan on stacking it in Siril, we'll start with stacking on the stars and then go back through the registered files and stack on the comet. Yep, absolutely right. Low on the horizon, it makes it tougher. But I mean, I just dropped down to 0.8 too, so the AM5 does a pretty good job of it. I could shut it down right now. I wasn't even guiding last night, and I tried doing those at 30 and 60, and at 60 it was fine. Good polar alignment, you could probably push 3 minutes, maybe even a little bit more without guiding, at least on this mount. My EQ6 is the same way. I can get probably 2.5 minutes without guiding before I start seeing egg-shaped stars. Yeah, it absolutely does. Like I said, those little smart scopes are awesome. Actually, ZWO is going to be sending me the new S30 smart scope to play with, so looking forward to that. You can't even pre-order those things yet, I don't think, but they tell me when the first batches are ready, they're going to send me one out to do a review on. So you dropped yours. You dropped your what? Your smart scope, the dwarf? Hey, Orion. Oh, Doug. You still using Cyril? I thought you jumped ship and went to the dark side, man. Yeah, this is Nina. Hey, super. I think that was a good decision, man. Welcome to the rabbit hole, right? That Red Cat's a great little scope, like I said before. It's unfortunate you dropped the smart scope, but at least it still works. You don't need those lights anyways, right? I know, dog. I'm just giving you a hard time. That's so unlike me, I know, right? It sure is. But that's the thing too, is when I talk to, we have our public star parties out here once a month in the summertime, and like all of us, I'm sure if you talk to anybody, they want to know how much is it cost, and it's as expensive as you want it to be, right? You can go as far down as you want that rabbit hole. You can get a smart scope and stop there for 500 bucks, or keep on going and spend thousands and thousands. It's I hate when people tell somebody it's going to cost them 5 grand at least to get into the hobby because it's just not true. I mean, I started with just my Canon and my kit lens on a tripod, as well as my friend Ariel, who's in the chat here too. I mean, it's you make the decision on how much you want to spend, right? That's right, absolutely. No LEDs make the darks easier. Yeah, you got to be nice to the developers. I did see, for those of you that may be familiar, there is a new YouTube channel that has come up in the past few months called City Astro. The guy's name is Franklin, I believe, and he's been putting together a lot of really cool scripts for PixInsight. And he's shown up in Siril's forums and talking with those guys about how he can do the same thing for Siril actually. So unfortunately, Siril doesn't have an API that can be used to call an external application outwards and then bring things back in, like for us to use. The developers would have to code that like they did for StarNet, and they're doing that for Graxpert as well. But future versions are going to allow that. So this guy's already been compiling his own future version of Siril with the code that's available and doing some testing and stuff. So it's probably not around the corner, but hopefully, sooner rather than later. It sounds like we got somebody that wants to come in here and start doing some programming and scripting for us, which will be super cool. Club name is the Cuyahoga. I'm gonna type in the chat. Cuyahoga Astronomical Association. Are you local? I assume if you're asking to join. He is a coding machine. Is super smart, man. I wish I was, had 10% of his intelligence to get that stuff done. Canton, did I speak to you before, Sean? I know there was somebody else that was down around your area. Hey, thanks, Super. I appreciate that. That's, it, it may sound cliche, but that's really a big part of what keeps me going with the channel is just hearing that I'm helping people, And I'm nowhere close to being the expert. I just, honestly, when I started the channel, I was just reading the documentation and saw there weren't a lot of people doing it, so I just decided to give it a shot. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's part of the hobby for me now. Okay, yeah, I thought I recognized when you said Canton. I thought I spoke to somebody. So cool, yeah, you should. We just had our last star party a couple weeks ago for this year. They don't do them in the winter time, but I think April it starts back up again, and we have them once a month. It's all on the website as well. Um, it's in Spencer, Ohio. I'm in Medina, which Spencer is about 10 minutes away from me, so it's a nice short drive for me. And they're border 4 over there too, so some decently dark skies. Yeah, definitely. Be nice to meet you, man. I know it's a little bit of a haul for you, but it's a good time. It's funny. We don't. There's probably only about 6 people in the club that are doing astrophotography. Everybody else is visual. So But it's still a fun time. Hang out with everybody, and the public comes out and they're just amazed at the equipment and the images and what they can see through the scopes that the guys are using for visual and stuff. And they usually got snacks and a whole. We have an observatory with 3 scopes in there, and there's another building where they have the snacks in, and they put up like educational stuff for everybody to to learn a few things when they come in. It's a good time. Nah, you're not doing anything wrong. I actually had a friend over 2 nights ago, and she couldn't see it with her binoculars either. So I think it's probably just too bright. Um, three was it 3 or 4 nights ago? Ariel and I were in the backyard, and if you let your eyes adjust for long enough, and you knew exactly where to look, you could very very faintly see just a line going through the sky. But it was nothing that you would ever just turn around and look up and see and know what it was. You had to stare in the right place and make sure your eyes were adjusted. So if you're, I don't know if anybody's using Nina, and if you don't know, there's a plugin right here. I'll show you. It's called Orbitals. If my connection doesn't crap out on me again, my RDP session. So if you load up the Orbitals plugin in Nina, you can update the Comet database, and you just come over here and select Comet, type in the comet you want, say load, and then click frame, and it'll take you right to your framing wizard, and you can start imaging. It'll put you right on the comet. I mean, I set up my sequence and said go, and I went in and I ate dinner. And when I came back out like 10 minutes later, the comet was, I was taking pictures. It was right on the screen. So it's makes it super simple if you're having a hard time finding it for imaging. Oh, here come the trees. Yeah, no problem, man. It's you can do the same thing in Stellarium. You can there's a do they call them plugins in Stellarium? I think they do. But you can do the same thing in Stellarium. You could load up the comet and then come back in the Nina if you have Nina configured to talk to Stellarium, and then just pull in the coordinates that Stellarium has for the comet, and it'll put it right in frame for you too. So a lot easier than trying to find that area of the sky and slew and center that way. Yeah, and if let me jump back over here real quick. So my set tracking rate's grayed out because we're currently imaging, right? But I believe if you set tracking rate, you will actually be tracking the comet. Right now we're sidereal, we're just tracking the stars. But if you wanted to track the comet, which is moving just a little bit faster than sidereal, you can do that as well. But the way I plan on stacking, I wanted to track on the stars. So, and then I'm not real positive with the guider shift rate. I think that's obviously something that goes into the guider, and the offset. I've never touched these 3 buttons. I just come in, load up the comet, hit frame. It's the same way I did the green comet. What was that? 2 years ago, almost now. But yeah, it makes it really really easy. And just keep in mind too, with this plugin, you don't want to load up everything, because every time the plugin loads, it'll load that database as well. So it could slow things down a little bit. So just pull in what you need when you need it. Ah, so you know the night sky then, huh? You're doing manual pointing with that scope. Hats off to you. Again, back in the beginning with my camera, that's what I used to have to do, and it's fun to learn, but I like my automated system now. Yeah, Doug, I hear you. I was trying to, I think I told you guys, but I was trying to shoot the comet with my Hyperstar, which is on the scope in the observatory. And I didn't even think I've got a pretty wide open view of the sky towards the west, except for these three pine trees that I just completely forgot about because I never start my sessions in the west. And I was shooting right between the trees. I got like five in between the trees. And then the rest of it, it was just branches. You could see the comet through them, but nothing usable. So, like we were talking about earlier with NAS, I'll probably give it a shot next week when this thing's a little bit higher up. Maybe I can get it then, but we'll see. Oh, cool. So you caught it with the sea star, dead Ben. That's awesome. And thanks for that, failed astronomer. I appreciate it. Yeah, those push these Ariel again, buddy of mine who's in the chat. A couple years ago, he had a what was it, a 12-inch Dob with a push two mount on it. It's pretty cool. I mean, we set that thing up and put his camera on there and got right on the moon, right? First thing we could do. It was an awesome scope. So I assume the Sea Star. I don't even know if the Dwarf has it. I think they told me it does now, or they're coming, or maybe a feature that's coming. But the Dwarf is going to be able to. It's going to have comets in it, if it doesn't already. I just talked to her a few days ago about that. But the Sea Star doesn't have any way to just punch in a comet that you want to track. Ariel, are you shooting tonight? Ah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I need to see the stars to be able to figure out where it's at, obviously. That's cool. That's what we were saying before, man. Those I love the smart scopes. I think they're awesome. From it'll never replace my equipment, but they're a lot of fun. Yeah, live stacking's a lot of fun, man, especially on the smart scopes. See those things come to life like that. Yeah, it looks like I missed that big tree that I was hitting last night, so I have a little bit more time on this thing. Although my neighbor is supposed to be coming over with his grandson, what did they say, like 9:30, quarter to 10, I think, because he wanted to see the observatory. And I need to get the Poseidon camera off the Red Cat that I'm using for imaging the comet right now and get that back on the 8-inch because I have I've been working on getting the oh, what is it called now? The Phantom of the Opera Nebula. So I need to get some more time on that thing because A, it's super faint, and B, the moon has just been killing me, killing all of us. But I'm getting it. I just need more data, I think, for it to look better than it does now. Sea Stars should have come with a warning. This will not be your last purchase. Yeah, that's all they did was add to the rabbit hole, right? Just another step up before you fall down. Yeah, yeah, that's what he was saying. It was in the list of objects. I think he was just saying that it was probably too early for it to be able to detect the stars so it could plate solve and actually find it. Does the uh does the Sea Star do anything like terrestrial wise, like daytime photography? The dwarf does. That's why I'm asking. There's all you can do video and bird tracking. They have a UFO tracking feature, which I laughed at first, and then I actually saw somebody's channel that is part of one of those UFO chaser groups, and they were all excited about it. I guess this thing really does pick up tiny little objects in the sky as they're zipping by. One of these days, I'll have to take it out there and maybe throw my drone up, 300-400 feet in the air and fly it in front of the field of view of the dwarf and see if it actually locks into it and tracks it. It's all kinds of things. You can do panoramics with it. It's like I said, they're cool little boxes. Okay, cool. I would assume if they didn't, that they will soon, right? Because them and dwarf seem to be going kind of head to head right now, which is great for us. Which one of the comets are green? Well, we're just shooting the Atlas comet right now, and it's not green. There was a green comet a couple years ago, almost maybe a year and a half. I honestly, if there's another one up there or another one coming that's going to be green, like I tell everybody, I'm not an astronomer. I just take pictures. I know very little about astronomy as far as being able to even look up at the sky and identify a bunch of things. I have my stars and constellations and planets that I can point to, but that's about the breadth of it. Hey, thanks, digital astronomer. I appreciate that. Yeah, the field of view on the S50, it's portrait, right? So, like, if you wanted to, I mean, I guess they all do this, but I know I've seen shots of the Andromeda, and if you could just rotate that 90 degrees, you'd probably be able to get the whole thing in frame. I'm assuming the S50 does mosaics as well, right? Or no? Thanks, Dillards. Yeah, Ariel, that's the one we were talking. I was just talking about, right? A year and a half ago. It was winter time, I believe, because I remember being cold outside. Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear it too, because again, the dwarf can do it, and or they're going to be able to do it soon. Like I said, competition, right? I know it feels like to me, anyways. The You got the people that like the dwarf, you got the people that like the S50. It's kind of like the whole iPhone Android thing again, right? People are battling about which is better. Ah, okay, Doug, cool. I can make this one look green too. Just need to adjust the tint a little bit. What colors do you want, right? It's all artistic at some point in time in the processing. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Green is from carbon monoxide. Oh, there goes autofocus. See, that's what happens when you run out last minute and just kick off your DSO template. I really didn't need the focus to run, but it's all right. Looks like we're getting kind of bright here anyway, so I'm expecting to start hitting trees soon. Yeah, right, Doug? Dillards, I don't know. Doug, do you know when Pons Brooks will come back around? By the way, if you guys aren't familiar with Doug from Astro AF on the screen here in the chat, go over and check out his channel. He's got a lot of good things going on over there. He's part of we have a little group of 4 that work together behind the scenes, throw ideas around with each other, get our videos out and such. I know this one won't be back for 80,000 years. It does none of us any good, right? Wi-Fi connection is acting crazy. Although this setup is like right in the middle of the yard, so it's in between 2 access nodes on my mesh networks. Maybe it's flopping back and forth. Oh, I see some more trees coming in. Yeah, it is. Sean. So, benefits, it's not that like you're gonna get better images or anything like that. I have a friend, she comes over here just about every clear night. I'm surprised she didn't come out tonight. And she used to run Nina, and then she went to an ASI Air. For her, she knew how to use Nina, and it worked great for her. But she was having issues at times. There's a lot of configuration, and one thing goes sideways that you really need to understand the software. It's not hard, but it takes time. Where the ASI Air is obviously an all-in-one solution for you, and it just works. You power it up and off you go most of the time. Um, so the benefit for me for Nina is I like to tinker with different software. I didn't start with Nina. I started with backyard EOS when I had the Canon camera that I was using, and then there was something else, I can't recall what it was called, but then I used astrophotography tool for a while, and then I jumped over to Nina. I can it's more versatile in that sense, right? I can run whatever I want to run. Obviously, with the ASI Air, you can't try different imaging software. You can't try different plate solvers. You can't try anything that's not made by ZWO as far as a camera is concerned. So that's why I've personally stayed away from it. But it's a great little box. I mean, everybody that has them loves them. Yeah, exactly. You're locked to ZWO. I have two player one cameras. I wouldn't even be able to use it if I wanted to. If they ever reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to do a review on it, I would have to tell them sure, but you need to send me a camera too, because I have a couple guide cameras from ZWO, but I don't have an actual imaging camera from them. So yeah, sure thing, Sean. Well, guys, we are starting to hit the top of the trees, and I need to get this camera on my main scope so I can start working on my other project too. So Um, I'll wait a couple more minutes, see if anybody has any other questions, but if not, I'm gonna wrap it up. Yeah, thanks for joining, Orlis. Thank you, everybody, for joining. This was fun. I'll have to do more of these. All right. Thanks again, everybody, for joining. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.